Welcome. All right. That first one was just a test run. All right. It was just a test run. I just wanted to see if I could keep the fan on. I'm going to keep the fan on. So hopefully this is not going to be too bad. So SummerSlam 2004, the 20-year anniversary of this tremendous show. I don't remember much about it. So I'm just saying that it's tremendous just because. We're going to start the show at 8:20, so in 5 minutes. So let's give everybody some time to come in, and hopefully we'll all start at the same time. If you are the kind of garbage human being who chooses to use the government name of SummerSlam 2004, the government name is Season 17, Episode 1 of SummerSlam. Season 17. So that's where we are. Season 17, Episode 1, SummerSlam. I remember 2 matches on this show: Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit versus Randy Orton. I don't remember the rest of the card. Did I see the Samantha Urban nude pic? I did. She looking skrrr. She looking skrrr. Too many people though. I think they get upset when she posts those pictures. They think she's kind of looking for attention, which she's a female. When do females stop looking for attention? They never stop looking for attention. They always want attention. The more, and they want more, as much of it as they can get. So she's a beautiful girl. She's a little older than I thought she was, but she's a gorgeous girl. And her being nudie was soft on the eyes. I can tell you that. It was easy on the eyes, very easy. Smooth as Sunday morning, boy. Did I see the Logan Paul tweet? Yes, I did. I also saw the Lacey Evans tweet, and I saw the fan response. But I am sick of the trans conversation, so I am not going to do a video on it. I just feel like the trans stuff is overdone, and plus, as we wait, we're finding out that the boxer, is not trans. The boxer is actually an even rarer form of disorder, where she was actually born male and has XY chromosomes. So she's not really trans because there's no such thing as transgender where she comes from. They just been dressing her as a female and treating her like a female and was born female. Well, she's genetically male. I think that's probably the best way to put it. And it's not the first time this has happened. I believe it happened with like Caster Semenya or whatever too, who was a female. She's a track and field star or something like that, and she was born with like internal testicles or something. And so these kinds of things happen. But a lot of the wrestling fans are super upset about Logan Paul's tweet. So maybe I will do a video on it. Depends on how I feel after this. But maybe I will talk about it. I don't really want to though, because I don't really like touching on. I feel like we've been talking about the trans stuff a lot lately. And I don't want to get too much into the trans stuff. I think my feelings on it is pretty well known. Like maybe we could just talk about the response to Logan Paul, But everybody wants Logan Paul to lose at SummerSlam now, or they want him to get fired. Maybe that's what we should talk about. He deleted the tweet, by the way, so I should have did the video earlier before he deleted the tweet, but he deleted it. All right, so 30 seconds before we start SummerSlam 2004. Let's start this thing strong. Let me know if the fan is loud and I could turn it off or at least turn it down. But if you guys can't hear it, then don't worry about it. Because I'm hot as hell in this house. It's hot to the son of a bitch. It's hot. Man, It is no good in here. It's no good. All right, let's get started. We're gonna start it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play. Yep, this is where Randy first won his. I miss when WWE used to be fun. They used to do vignettes. William Regal's on fire. Booker T is fencing? AJ3 said, do you regret discarding the Oklahoma State Athletic Commission's campaign of trans people in sports? No, I don't. I just think that pro wrestling is different from boxing and everything else. I mean, that should go without saying. When it comes to the Olympics, we're talking about boxing. And it seems like a lot of female boxers like Elaine Bridges and Clarissa Shields and so many other ones have come out and said that they would not fight men and that all the girls should basically forfeit and quit and all this kind of stuff. Like a lot of people. Oh, Booker T versus John Cena, huh? That ought to be fun. Kane versus Matt Hardy. Oh, not looking forward to that. But Matt Hardy being able to walk, that's interesting. Ain't seen that in a while. Oh, Lord, Eugene. Eugene versus Triple H. What were they thinking? What were they thinking? JBL versus The Undertaker. That's weird. Could be fun. It could be fun, I guess. The timestamp is 2 minutes, 10 seconds. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Now 2 minutes, 20 seconds. I'm notoriously not a huge fan of the Attitude Era. And I think I'm probably one of the few wrestling YouTubers that's not really a huge fan of the Attitude Era. And I grew up during the Attitude Era. WrestleMania 17, I was 17. WrestleMania 16, I was 16. So I was a teenager and I was bored to death with that shit. And I'm one of the few people who was old enough to have sat through it and watched it when it was at its most popular, and I got bored with it. I think wrestling actually peaked in like 98. That's me personally. I think as soon as we got on the wrong side of 98, it was over with. And they dragged that goddamn thing till 2001. Oh my God. Hugo Savinovich. Carlos Cabrera. Don't he work into AEW now? Carlos Cabrera? I think he works in AEW now. SummerSlam. Taz is wearing sunglasses inside at night. Ugh. What a moron. Grade A moron. Oh, this one when Spike was the leader of the Dudley Boys? How weird is that? This was a very weird time when Spike Dudley was the leader of the Dudley Boys. Was this before Undertaker killed him, or he killed him like the month before this? Well, I think he might have killed him the year before this, right? Undertaker buried him in he buried him in concrete. It was around this generation, I'm sure. Oh, Hugo and Carlos do AEW? Okay, not bad. I'm the first person over 30 that doesn't like the attitude era. I just got bored with it. It just felt like, I don't know, man. And I think if you look back on it, a lot of the same problems that you complain about in like '06, it was still there. Terrible creative, Austin beating everybody. I was like, ugh. Stupid characters, storylines that went nowhere. This should be a fun match. London and oh wait a minute, I thought this was London and Kendrick. That's London and Kidman. Oh good lord. Okay, still be fun, I guess. Heel Spike was so miscast. What was Vince thinking? Well, I guess he just wanted to do something different. The Dudley Boys have been around for a few years at this point, and they were trying to find ways of making these guys interesting. Remember, a couple of years before this, they were broken up, and Bubba was, and both of them were singles acts. I was about to say Bubba was a singles act, but Devon was too. Remember Reverend Devon? So they were just trying to do something different. So I guess Vince decided to give it a try to see what Spike Dudley could do. And since he was always cast as being the midget job guy, they decided to make him like the boss, the leader. And it's a very Vince McMahon thing to do. That they have to take orders from the little brother. And it's interesting. I don't remember much of it, but as soon as I saw him come out, I was like, oh boy. It clicked exactly what it was going on around this time. All these shows are just time capsules, which I really love, for crazy storylines that WWE was involved in. And I can't believe Kidman is still wrestling in 2004 because I don't remember him doing shit since he came to WWE. I don't remember him being a champion of any kind. I do remember him wearing like a glittery jacket, and that was about it. So I couldn't believe Paul London is here. He's super skinny, but at least he's not like Sans muscles. Black Sand 97 says thinks Spike is older than Bubba and Devon. It's crazy that's not. Well, I'm not surprised about that. I wouldn't be surprised about that. Britt is causing issues with Will Washington and Mariah May. Who has reported this? Because this sounds like something that I need to look into if it's reported by somebody credible. He was a cruiserweight champ when he beat Jamie Noble 02 Survivor Series. Are we talking about Kidman? Because I don't remember that. I remember the 2002 Survivor Series. I don't remember that match, though. Top Dog says he always found it hypocritical how people got mad at Cena beating everyone, but Stone Cold did it all the time in the 90s. That's because, most people like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I do too. I wouldn't put him in my top 5 favorite wrestlers, but I like Stone Cold Steve Austin too, for God's sakes. And I just got bored with him just hitting random stunners and disappearing on people. And then when Triple H took over, I was completely out. It wasn't that I was like, nah. I didn't hate Triple H or anything like that, but I was like, nah, this ain't my cup of tea no more. I was off and on from 2000 to 2000, about 2001, 2002. Once the Reign of Terror began, bro, I was out. Like, I was out before Goldberg came in. I can tell you that. So, because I had to go back and watch all of that all over again. I can't tell you, like, what was the last episode of Raw I watched, because I was off and on watching it in 99 and 2000. And I remember Triple H winning the title. That was probably the last time I was really excited to watch wrestling. By the end of that year, I was off and on. By 2000, WrestleMania was probably like the end because I hated that WrestleMania so much. It's not the worst, but it's top. It's probably not top 5 anymore. A couple of years ago, I would have said it was top 5. I won't say that anymore. It's top 10 though. It's top 10 though. WrestleMania 16 or WrestleMania 2000 was such a garbage event. Paul London, best moment in WWE is him laughing backstage when Vince died. It's crazy that he got punished for that, for breaking character or whatever. I never disliked Paul London until he started, I don't know, being weird outside of the company. He was just a guy that was there when he was in the company. I really liked his tag team with Brian Kendrick. I thought they were great. But other than that, I never really thought much of Paul London as a solo act. And I didn't actively dislike him until a couple of years ago. And I realized that he's just a gossip girl. It's very, very awkward. WG Phil says he thought that Dudley's had a bombshell as a theme. Guess they ran out of the license usage. Well, I guess they probably just took it out due to 9/11 and all that, or it's probably something else war related to make it PG. They do stuff like that. Like I think for a while they took out the hurricanes. Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through. They had taken that out for a while, and I think it had something to do with like one of the hurricanes that had hit New York or something, and they took it out. So it might have been like a creative decision due to war or something like that they took it out. I hate when they do stuff like that, but they do this shit all the time. The new generation era, I think the little bit of overlap between that was probably in '97. I think the Attitude Era formally began with the Cure for the Common Show, of course, is what everybody kind of puts it like that's where it starts. But I think it started in '97 when DX was formed, and they were doing the parodies of like what they can and cannot say on television. After Bonnie Hammer complained about what they were doing, and then they turned it around on her. They decided at that point, I think that's when the Attitude Era began. But some people will say, oh, it began after WrestleMania when Austin won the title. I mean, you can look at it from a lot of different places, but I think that the product took a much harder edge in '97, and by late '97, it had the tone and feel of the Attitude Era. The glossy new generation era was pretty much gone at that point, but it was still very much there at Survivor Series '96, Royal Rumble '97. Maybe around WrestleMania 14, it started to go away, and it started being like the gritty Attitude Era. So CM Pong, he did an interview with ESPN where they asked him his top 5 favorite wrestlers, and Stone Cold, he comment was that the one guy who revolutionized the business and was the biggest star. So Hulk Hogan? Did he not say his name? So when it comes to guys who revolutionized the business, there's only like 5 of them. You got Gorgeous George, Lou Thesz, Hulk Hogan. Well, I guess you could say El Santo, Ricky Dozan, because there wouldn't be any wrestling in Japan without Ricky Dozan. There wouldn't be any wrestling in Mexico without El Santo. United States was revolutionized by Gorgeous George because he was like the first real like gimmick guy. Even though there was masked wrestlers before Gorgeous George and all that kind of stuff, Gorgeous George kind of like created what we know as like the Ric Flair kind of heel. And Hulk Hogan, because I mean, that transition from professional wrestling to sports entertainment doesn't happen without Hulk Hogan. And who knows if the business could have survived as just professional wrestling. And I know a lot of English guys would probably say, oh, what about Big Daddy? What about him? There's a reason we don't hear that much about him. I mean, you think he was like a fat old guy when he was at his most popular anyway. Ooh, Wicked 3D. Triple H in 2000 was very boring, but has good matches just like his booking. They won with the 3D, not bad. Did I see the Tonga twins? Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I saw when they left WoW, and there was a big hubbub about them leaving WoW. Now, as far as I know, there were some girls who claimed that they were bullies and they were being shitheads, and there were some other girls who were saying like, oh yeah, we like them. And they've been at the Performance Center for a couple of weeks now. and I don't know if they got signed, but they've been there. But they had a pretty bad reputation in WoW, from my understanding. They were apparently very stiff with talent and kind of rude. But I don't know if that was jealousy or what, because it came and went, and they kept talking about how they were going to tell their side of the story and all that, and it never happened. So, did Super Senate ever make you almost quit again? It frustrated the hell out of me, but I think I got over it because I found other people that I really liked. But Super Senate was not fun. Like the I actually don't care that much about the 06, 07 because they're trying to establish him. That didn't bother me. What started to really bother me is like 2009 to like 2012. That's when I was kind of like, oh, enough of this. Because at that point it's like, okay, Cena is established, but then they did selectively doing jobs with him, like when he lost to Punk or when he lost to Danielson. I was like, okay, cool. They're not. He's not the same Superman that he was in 06. They were still protecting him in some ways, but he wasn't doing clean jobs at all in like 06 or 07. He was barely losing, let alone doing clean jobs. What a labyrinth this story is. Lita, so if I remember correctly, Lita got kidnapped by Kane and ended up pregnant, and now, which implies that Kane is a rapist, by the way. This is absurd. Because then we find out that and then Kane lost the girl to Edge. So they did the roundabout way of doing things. This had to be when they first found out that something was happening between Matt and Lita, and things weren't always working out. Spike was 34 in this match. Wow. Top Dog said he always thought the March '97 felt like the start of the Attitude Era. Heavy metal Brett cussing on live TV, Brett awesome double turn, new Raw stage and arena. I think that's fair. I think that's a really fair assessment because things got really gritty right after the Royal Rumble. I think things got dark. Things got dark at some point between January and March. But I think part of that was when Mike Tyson came in. Then everybody was like, okay, business is picking up. How many? Well, some of the kids is adopted. Like Tama Tonga is adopted, and I think Hikuleo was also adopted. I'm not sure about the Tonga twins though. Cena killing the. I was okay with Cena killing the Nexus though. They were brought in as a group. None of them really stood out. Nobody individually had any personality. None of them should have been champions. Like maybe they should have won that match, but ultimately, Austin. I mean, I'm about to say I'm Austin. Cena burying Wade Barrett in those chairs is the way that you end that story. Who was Wade Barrett without the Nexus? He was nothing. He wasn't a particularly great promo. He was kind of bland. I know that people were very excited about the Nexus, but they all was green as hell and they sucked. Like they was only something collectively. They were nothing individually. And in order to be a faction leader or a main event character, you have to be able to stand on your own. And they couldn't stand on their own. None of them could. On a positive note, we got when they started separating them, some of them became pretty good. Wade Barrett found Bad News Barrett. That was good. Ryback was okay. Heath Slater ended up being probably the longest tenured star of them all. I was always kind of disappointed that Justin Gabriel didn't have much more going for him. Darren Young was around for a while. He had a couple of different gimmicks. He's a former tag team champion with the Primetime Players. But ultimately, I just didn't think. I think the Nexus wasn't that big a deal. Honestly, it was good for that time period, but for just to run for that summer, I think it was fine. It was just a way to get green people on TV. Volker King got tired of seeing it after his feud with Orton in 2009. It's hard for me because I want to say, 2009, 2010, because those days are they're so blurry to me. Like, I can tell you, boy, 2009, 2010, I don't remember anything. I hardly remember anything that happened on those shows. It just seemed to be an endless run of Cena and Orton, or Cena and Miz, or it's just they were not doing enough, and they really started feeling the pain of all the guys they had ran off a couple of years earlier. Walker King says Kane and Kurt always got involved with weird stuff. Really took advantage of them. He really did. He really did. Charmel did an interview recently. I think it was Chris Van Vliet, where she talked about how she didn't really mind the Stalker storyline with Kurt Angle, and she thought it was fun. I remember seeing that. I think I watched it when I came back to watching wrestling, and I started seeing those matches and seeing those angles, and I was like, boy, this is crazy. You would never think that Kurt Angle was a legit Olympic gold medalist the way that Vince had him doing insane stuff. Just absolutely insane stuff. And Kurt seems to be down for it and with it and attacking these things. And I think that's part of why they ended up doing so much weird stuff, is because they always attacked it with like they were into it. It was very weird. They never looked out of place doing crazy shit, even though this stuff was crazy and they shouldn't have been doing it. Black Say 97 said the only person who wasn't green was Daniel Bryan. They fired him from the Nexus. Well, they kind of had to, because he strangled Justin Roberts with a tie. They kind of had to. But then they smartened up and they brought him back. And I like that they brought him back as a babyface, so that he was against the Nexus. So, like, if you look at it, they didn't really, even though people was kind of, they tried to bury him by making The Miz his coach on NXT and all that. Again, in WWE, storylines matter, and Vince like doing things that are shocking, but once you look at it in full context, it makes good narrative sense. Like Danielson having 10 times the experience of The Miz, being a much better wrestler than The Miz, but was made The Miz was made his coach. That made the storyline so much better, because it's double layered. If you don't know anything about Bryan Danielson, this works for you because The Miz has been around on TV for a long time. Why wouldn't The Miz be his coach? But if you did know who Bryan Danielson was, and you know how absurd this is, and it makes it even more entertaining, as The Miz is trying to teach a guy who is much better than him and has been doing this longer than him what he's doing. And then, of course, they brought it to your attention. They had a promo in the middle of the ring where Danielson was talking about how he's been in the business longer than The Miz and all this kind of stuff. Like, they really set them up. Like, they married those two guys together, and that lasted until 2016. Like, that was just amazing that they were still going back and forth in 2016. Like, it was amazing that they was able to get out of that. And just like I saw recently, people still talking about the Bianca Belair spot at SummerSlam a couple years ago, where she lost to Becky Lynch in like 40 seconds or whatever. And people were like, "Oh, I hated that. I hated that." It was like, you're poking things out of context. Yes, everybody knows that Bianca Belair shouldn't have lost in 40 seconds, but that was the shocking element of it. Would you rather have she worked 20 minutes and lost? Like, you don't get the same result. And you don't get to tell the same story that they were trying to tell with it happening the way that you would have booked it in your head. You would have had, they go back and forth for 20 minutes and then Becky cheats and wins. Nah, you can't 50-50 book everything, bro. The thing is, Bianca had to trust the process, and then she ended up getting, her thing in the end. But when you look at it, sometimes people get what they deserve in the end. Like, Kofi didn't. But when they did the thing with Bryan Danielson and he lost in 9 seconds to Sheamus at WrestleMania, that just set him up for something bigger later on down the line. It was in the context of the story. Whoa. Oh, shit. What a choke slam. Oh, my God. Holy hell. Oh, wait. That was a nasty choke slam. Top Dog says, how do you think Brett would have been booked if he stayed with WWE in 97? He'd eventually did a job for Steve Austin, probably at WrestleMania the next year. Because assuming everything is the same, except for Brett's there, then Shawn's going to injure his back, and they're going to go back to Brett. So, and then it's probably going to be Brett and Austin at WrestleMania next year. And then Brett probably dropped the title to Austin, which is probably what they were planning to do anyway, until Vince decided to pull the plug on Brett. But in reality, maybe they should have put the belt on Austin at Survivor Series that year instead of having Vince force Shawn to be on top. But then again, he had already planned the Shawn Michaels, Mike Tyson, all that kind of. He already planned all that. So. WG Phil says the report is from Brad Shepard. He has a weird fixation on Britt Baker and Adam Cole. Yeah, it's a weirdo. He's a weirdo. The Shield was better than the Nexus. Yeah. The thing is, the Shield, they had to separate them for them all to stand out. So it was the same concept. You bring in a bunch of green guys, they stay together, they work together, it works, and then you separate them for a little while. Randy's talking.
SummerSlam 2004 is going to go down in history, okay? Because one of the most talented, one of the youngest, most charismatic, and best looking WWE superstars is going to ascend to greatness tonight. Tonight will be the night that the franchise opened up shop on Booker T's ass. And we doing big business right here in Toronto. Thanks for the introduction, bro. You just called me the youngest, best looking, most charismatic superstar in WWE. And Randy Jr. See to it, he gets some wristbands, visor. We're going to get you some merch. You're going to look nice. But I'm a fan of yours, too. And I know you got fans out there. We're going to see how many fans you got out there. Hey, yo, T-Dot, can you hear me? Do y'all like Randy Orton? That's so good. I'm going to try another one. Hey, yo, T-Dot, tonight, is Randy Orton going to beat Chris Benoit for the World Heavyweight Championship?
Look at the foreshadowing they're doing here, though. Like, this is really long-term storytelling. This is 2004, and they already setting these two against each other to see who's going to be the franchise player of the company. They were still involved with this in 2010. 6 years later, bro. So this is what I mean by, Vince had vision. He wasn't perfect. Like the week-to-week stuff, he you could drop the ball on that. But the brilliance of putting Orton and Cena in the same shot, and then both of them talking about how they're the franchise player, and you had Orton was already a heel, so they're already telling you he's our top heel for the future, and then Cena comes in, he's the babyface, he's our top babyface for the future. They basically told you that in that scene right there. So again, you might complain about the week-to-week stuff, but Vince had vision. He knew what he was doing in the long term. Here go to Booker T. So Booker T and John Cena is about to happen here. X91 IVT. Ooh, boy, what a name that is. This is his first wrestling show. That's amazing. Brett versus Austin at WrestleMania 14 with Mike Tyson as enforcer would have been great. It would have been a step up from Ken Shamrock. Not that Ken Shamrock was bad, but Shamrock had a reputation as, you know, the world's most dangerous man and all that. And then you had the baddest man on the planet with Mike Tyson. So it was like, okay, it would have fit the same motif that they did the year before. So it seems to me like that might have been the direction they would have wanted to go in. Chris Ben who? I'm surprised they didn't mute his name. WG Phil says, I wonder what made Vince choose Orton over Cena and Batista as world champion after Lesnar. I'm pretty sure it's the Triple H. It's probably Triple H in his ear. Again, Triple H always has that he's not ready mentality when it comes to the young guys. But if Vince is already saying I'm going with somebody, then Triple H probably going to go with my guy because I'm already working with him. So, but I think Vince already had his plan in his head that Cena was going to win the title from JBL. That's why JBL wasn't going to lose it. Again, the week-to-week stuff doesn't really work out all that great, but the longer-term stuff ended up being great. And for Vince, it was even longer because he ended up being 100% right when it came to Cena and Orton. And then it makes the show seem so much more cohesive when the things are going on for years. And it's not like, you know, Cena and Orton had 100 matches against each other. That's when Vince started to fall off. When they started having way too many matches and guys were wrestling on TV and then they were wrestling at 3 pay-per-views in a row. That's when, you know, Vince started to fall off. But he had vision here. He knew what he was doing. And he had both of them work with veterans who, you know, Chris Benoit and Booker T. Both of them were still kind of green. Like, you can look at Cena here and tell that he's not that great, but he ain't awful. He just moves awkwardly. Mike Tyson signing with the Hart Foundation in Canada because of the rape allegations would have been great. Oh my God. Eddie versus Kurt was awesome. JBL versus Undertaker was wild. Benoit versus Randy was a fucking classic. And Big Nose versus Eugene was just a pocket match. I'm not looking forward to that match because I remember that match being long as hell now that I know that it happened. Yeah, Booker's gear is pretty cool. I thought he was going to wrestle with his ponytail, man. I don't know why he decided not to. Showmanship would have had him wrestle with it at the beginning and then undo it as the match was going on to show, you know, battle wounds and that kind of stuff. All Cena really got to do is listen to Booker. Booker's going to be the one carrying the match. I don't think this is the first match they had against each other either. It's probably like the 100th. Yeah, it's refreshing to not see John Cena balding on like television. That's great. Yeah, this is the Kurt Angle Eddie Guerrero main event. I mean, not the main event. This is their rematch. This on this show. Top Dog says, you know, Triple H had to be big mad when Vince chose Cena to be the guy. Oh yeah, you know he wasn't happy about that. Especially considering he didn't think Orton was ready, and Orton was better than Cena, for God's sake. Again, Triple H is a work rate mark. I love that the matches aren't long. I also like Cena's conditioning. Like, he almost never gets blown up. I like the cold open. I thought it was great. The vignettes. I miss when they used to do fun vignettes and stuff like that. Like the because this is an Olympic year, and they did like Olympic themed vignettes. So that was fun. Like when they did WrestleMania. Was it earlier this same year? Oh no, it was 2 years before. They did the movies and everything. That was pretty fucking cool. Like that's the cool stuff about the Ruthless Aggression era that I like. You think the WrestleMania 23 messed up seeing her just a pop driver? I don't think so. I think he just got old. Oh, that was 2000. Yeah, WrestleMania 21. You're right. That's when WrestleMania went Hollywood for like but they say it's the first time, but it wasn't the first time, by the way. If you go back to 2006, Triple H tried to bury Cena on Raw, saying he can't work, etc. Yep. He also tried to bury JBL too. He called him Foghorn Leghorn in a promo, which I thought was hilarious because it fit JBL's character. Triple H was on an ego trip around this time, and Vince was moving on. I wish he'd got out the way. I wish he'd got out the way. I think Goldberg's run in WWE would have been better if he didn't have to tangle with Triple H so much. And I didn't even hate those. I didn't like them, but I didn't hate them. I don't think they were the worst matches Goldberg ever been a part of. They certainly weren't the best. No, matter of fact, I take that back. That one match where Goldberg actually won the title and Triple H was wearing those shorts. Oh, that's an awful fucking match, bro. That match was dreadful. How Triple H managed to have bad matches with Scott Steiner, Bill Goldberg, and a bunch of other people. He actually had a boring 45-minute match with Shawn Michaels, for God's sake. How he managed to do all that in 2 years and stay at the top is insane. That's insane shit, man. I can't. I don't understand that one at all. That's when you start acting like he was banging the boss's daughter, because he was having some really bad shit between 2002 and 2005. Cena faced Booker again for a No Mercy 2004. Well, that was like 2 months later. I'm just gonna call you now. Oh shit! 1, 2. Whoa, was Booker's shoulder even down? Guess it don't matter. Charles Robinson knows what he's doing. That was a nice little come from behind win. It was a little anti-dramatic because it happened so fast. I'm just gonna call you 901 because your name is a nightmare. He says they do like WWE most of the time, low key, but I'm sick of the IWC saying AEW is on par with even something like this. Well, this was when WWE was in a rebuilding year in 2004. They're trying to focus on new stars. So you see a lot of these guys like Booker T and Rob Van Dam. They're putting over young guys mostly, and that's an interesting time to be in. But this was fun, you know. That was a fun little match. Triple H beating Goldberg at SummerSlam 2003 is one of the most dumb things of the Ruthless Aggression era. I'm on the fence about that. I'm on the fence about it. Obviously, Goldberg should have probably won that match, but I guess the idea was they wanted Goldberg to win the match 1-on-1. But I think what really that derailed the Goldberg push, if we're being honest. That was kind of, most people was like, "Yep, that's it. Goldberg is over." What is Jerry Bischoff talking about?
I'm dealing with another general manager from SmackDown. I mean, what are you now? Number 4? So there's been Stephanie McMahon, Paul Heyman, Kurt Angle, and now you. But listen, I just came by to congratulate you, maybe give you a little advice. I think that you should really learn as much as you can while you're on the job. Enjoy it as much as you possibly can. Because at the rate we're going, by the time there's another joint Raw, SmackDown pay-per-view, Survivor Series, now, let's just say I doubt you'll be around.
Eric is a very good on-screen character. He's fantastic.
It's just reality. Well, you know something, Eric? I can appreciate that. Just like you can appreciate this. Now, tonight, I don't know whether your nephew Eugene will beat Triple H or not. And, you know, I don't even know whether you'll ever succeed in getting rid of it. But I do know this, player. If you should ever do.
X9 it is.
I got no problem signing Eugene to SmackDown.
What?
Making him the biggest superstar ever.
What?
Now, that not only goes for Eugene.
Get this turtle head idiot out of here. What are you talking about?
That are sick of you and they want out. Now, that's nothing personal. That's just
this massive picture of Vince backstage back there is hilarious, bro. This massive portrait of Vince back there is hilarious. I love it. Oh, Diva Dodgeball. Oh my goodness. I have no idea who half these girls are. Why is Jazz in this thing? Molly is wearing a wig. Oh, did they shave her head? They shaved her head already. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have like a best of 5 or best of 7 or whatever. Oh, I thought the Diva Dodgeball thing was happening. Now we end up with big muscly Batista. I like this thing for Batista too. This thing was pretty hard. Of course, you know, I Walk Alone is a classic, but this thing was pretty dope too. Look at this man. Look at the state of him. What a genetic freak. Compared to how he looks now. And Batista had to be like 38 here, right? Look at this fucking guy, man. Look at this fucking guy, man. Jesus Christ. I know Vince, his spurs was jingling and jangling looking at Batista, bro. Look at his nipples was hard. Like, oh my God, look at this shit. What is this? What is up? He's wrestling Chris Jericho? Why? I don't see any. They didn't show anything yet or anything of why they fighting. Why is Jericho out here? Diva Dodgeball is what you call hashtag work rate. Absolutely. Yeah, my work my rates, you know. Teddy is full of shit. Absolutely. Who the hell wants to watch Eugene? Vince thought that the gimmick was funny and entertaining. He gave the gimmick a chance, you know. But the match on this show, I know it's too long. He's sticking up for the underdog. Yeah, he's just trying to be the babyface, but he's talking nonsense. I would have liked to see JBL just run Eugene over though a couple of times. That'd have been fun. Yeah, she's wearing a wig because they shaved her head at WrestleMania 20. It's crazy. This is in August and her hair hadn't grown back yet. But they probably just made her keep wearing a wig for part of her gimmick. So this is a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. Okay. This is when Edge didn't get the reaction that he thought he deserved and decided to turn heel later. I remember this. Yeah, Batista's he's an animal, dog. This is crazy. Grandpa, he was like a grandfather at this point already. He was 35 and he was like a granddad. This is back when everybody didn't hate Jericho. Simple times, you know. Batista has muscles, which he doesn't have today. I forgot why he explained why he doesn't have muscles anymore. He tried to explain it, but I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. He looked like a sick old man now. Jericho looks like a boozer today. Edge, well, he kind of looks like Edge except older. But the drastic change between Jericho and Batista today is insane. But Batista being almost 40 in this match is, and knowing this is only 2 years, a year and some change into his career. He basically just got on the roster a year before this. Oh yeah, he needed to turn heel, but Vince wanted him to be a top babyface. That's why they started doing the Evolution Killer thing, and that's why Batista is in this match. You know, I guess it was supposed to be Edge versus Batista, and then I guess they felt Batista wasn't good enough, so they threw Jericho in there. That's what it seemed like, but it was certainly Edge fighting Evolution that led to this. I remembered it. I don't know how we got Jericho though. I don't know how Jericho got in there. Ooh, what a power slam! This is one jack dude, man. You can't tell me that guy not on steroids, bro. That guy's on everything. He got everything in that body. This is these were the best years of Edge's life. And you know what? Edge almost ran me off too. 2010, oh my God. The years with him and Vicky, those were some of the worst years of my life, dog. That Edge and Vicky thing it grossed me out so badly. Those are some of the worst days of my life. Juice, man, that dude got a whole ocean spray in his body at this point. Oh, he does Brazilian jiu-jitsu. That's why he lost weight. And why isn't it making Moxley lose weight? What's going on? But then again, I guess he was a bodybuilder for a long time, so it kind of makes sense. Oh shit, he botched going through these ropes. But you can see all of Vince's guys are on this show. Cena, Batista, Orton, Edge. These are all the guys he was grooming for the future. They're all on this show. And they're all working with veterans. Jericho, Booker T, Benoit. I hate the Edge and Vicky storyline. It went on for so long too. I hated that shit so much. It was so fucking gross. And then it made everybody watch Chavo Guerrero, for God's sake. Outside of the Guerrero's tag team, I have no use for Chavo Guerrero. What was peak Edge to me? Oh. Rated R Superstar. I would say 06 to 08, maybe. I think the character lost something when Lita retired. I think that was kind of like cutting the legs off the character. And wasn't much you could do without Lita. And they tried to replace Lita with Vicky, and that was terrible. Well, that was terrible. That was awful. Edge was terrible. Like, all the stuff that involved Vicky and then Big Show. Oh, hell no. Oh, no. Oh, no. X9 likes Chavo and Lucha Underground. I have a hard time putting Chavo over. I don't know if I can do it. Chavo being ECW champion, boy, that's hilarious. I remember when it happened. I remember looking at that and just put my head in my hands and was like, Vince is just. He had to have a veteran on that roster. He wanted to have a bunch of green guys, and he had to have a veteran. And so he somehow ended up being Chavo Guerrero. And then they squashed him at WrestleMania, which was even funnier. Lita regretted that live sex with on Monday Night Raw. They're trying to erase that from memory. Yeah. I think she was unhappy about that whole time period because it was at a rough time of her life. The Matt Hardy thing was real. She was getting real heat for it. Like, it's one thing when people are playing into the character that you're portraying. It's another thing when people legitimately hate you. And it was not phony TV heat. people legitimately did not like Edge and Lita. So a lot of the stuff that they were saying, she was taking personally. So I think that whole time period was not fun for her. That's why she quit and left, which was probably the right thing to do. If it started messing with your mental health, it's time to go. But Edge was like, shit, I'm just not starting to get over. I can't leave. I can't quit. I can't walk away. Right. Batista's an old man and only been in the business a few years. But that would explain why Vince put him in the microwave. And it makes sense. You know, but Randy was fucking up. So they were like, okay, well, next, and go with Batista. Like, he's an old man. If we don't get anything out of him right now, we're not ever going to get anything out of him. And thankfully, Batista worked. It ended up being great. He's a lot more mature than Randy. And he ended up becoming a really good character, too. Yeah, this stuff with Vicky was nonsense. Boy, man, my God. It was so bad. It was so bad. The SmackDown Live era was so bad, bro. The only thing good about it was like John Morrison, Intercontinental Champion. I think Rey Mysterio was Intercontinental Champion. That stuff was fun. But the top of that card, oh, anything that had to do with Edge, his stranglehold on that world title, I can't stand it. Ugh, it was awful. Uh, I liked young Drew, but I'm not sure when he went off the rails. I think that was a mistake. It was clear that Vince liked him and Vince wanted to do something with him, and Drew had dropped the ball, and the one man or the band stuff was a punishment for him screwing up. I think he had got into it with his wife at the time, which is Taryn Terrell, and he had got some serious heat over that shit because he made the company look bad. I think she hit him and got fired, but then he also still got punished for it. I think the same thing happened to Rhino too. I think Rhino's wife threw like a lamp at him or something like that, and he ended up getting fired. Yeah, Edge was able to handle it. Lita's, being female and everything, it wasn't going to work out. And then it aged even worse with her because over the years it became the things that she was most known for. Unlike with Edge, like he went on to do some other really good stuff. But with Lita, that was probably the fondest stuff that people remember from her. Nobody really remembers her wrestling matches on Raw and all that stuff. Nobody cares about that shit. They just remember her doing this storyline with Edge. And maybe if she'd have stuck around and said, I don't want to be with Edge anymore, and just like went to a different brand or something and tried to rehab the character, maybe that could have worked. But I think the hatred and dislike for her was way too strong. I see people booing Edge and he's not happy about it. He's not thrilled. So that's why Jericho was in the match. He's in the match to take the pin. Oh, okay. Okay, somebody had to do the job. X9 says the thing I hate about current wrestling is that you have to listen to people like Sean Ross Sapp I guess you mean WrestleMania and What Culture and these nerds. And back then, you didn't know about Meltzer. Well, I knew who Meltzer was because I was on the dirt sheets in like 2000. The problem was they got a lot more influence now than they used to have because of Twitter and everything and YouTube. Back then, there wasn't, 20 years ago, there was still YouTube, but there was no Twitter. There was no, I think there might have been Facebook, but it was kind of like a underground thing. It wasn't like one of the most popular sites of all time. Edge won the WWE Championship because of the heat with Lita. Imagine Edge would have retired that year. Quit on top. He couldn't walk away, man. He was finally getting into the main event. He couldn't quit yet. This is what we're here for. Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle, baby. Lita is a she is, as far as I know, single, unmarried, with no kids. That's crazy. Jesus Christ. El Gran Luchador. What a great reveal here. Did they ever get another match out of this? Because I feel like it should have been an Angle Guerrero 3. Like, I feel like it might have had it on TV or something. This is about to be all money right here. This is the kind of work rate shit I'm down for. I don't want to watch the fat Japanese dude chop each other in the chest. I don't want to see that. I don't care about that. Well, I'm gonna say this. There was a couple of Edge and Undertaker matches that I liked, and I think he needed that run to be solidified for sure. But overall, I wasn't a huge fan of Edge. And like 2010, 2011, I wasn't a huge fan of that guy. Especially when they started doing weird shit like he loses the title and winning the title in the same night. I was like, get the fuck out of here with that. I hated that. That pissed me off so badly. And it wasn't even like a kayfabe heat. That was just kind of like, okay, Vance, get the fuck out of here, okay? Well, yeah, I mean, she brought the heat on herself with her behavior, and but I guess she figured she had suffered enough, and then over time, of course, she started thinking that she got it worse than Edge did, and she kind of did. She kind of did get it worse than Edge. You know, Edge broke bro code, and but he was a good performer, so everybody was kind of like, okay, well, we'll get over it. With Lita, it was like, okay, this is all you're really known for. So. I wonder if Lita and Matt. I know that Matt's wife not happy about it because Ruby was still shitting on Ashley before she died. So I'm pretty sure she has no love lost for Lita. What's the SummerSlam with Umaga versus Cena? They wrestled at Royal Rumble and they wrestled at New Year's Revolution. They didn't have a SummerSlam match. You remember Kevin Nash's comment about Eddie and Chris both winning championships, closing WrestleMania 20 with the night wrestling died? Yeah, Nash has always kind of been on that tip. I think he clarified later. I think he definitely warmed up to Eddie, but I don't remember what his clarification was. But I think you have to create those kinds of moments, and that's one of the little things that I'm more passive on. Like even if I don't like a guy, there are some times you have to just catch the lightning in the bottle, and I think even at the time I probably wasn't really huge on the idea of Eddie Guerrero being the champion, especially beating Brock. I probably was kind of like, you know what? I remember seeing that on the dirt sheets, and I was like, "Oh my god, what the hell are they doing?" I didn't have the same reaction when Benoit won. I was just kind of like, "Wow, that's weird." And then when Bradshaw won the title, I was like, "Yeah, this place is going to hell in a handbasket." Like Guerrero was bad enough, but then again, I wasn't watching what he was doing. So to me, he was still Latino heat, with China and all that kind of stuff. I didn't think he had, really shown something. And then when I came back and saw what he was doing, I was like, oh, okay, I see why he was the main event guy. Because I came back, he was feuding with Ray. It was right after WrestleMania 21, and he was doing such. So that means I came right back in as soon as he turned heel. So I was like, okay, I see why he was a top guy. And then by the time he died, I was like, shit, he should be world champion right now. WG Phil says kind of expected Lita would be married, unmarried, and childless. If it wasn't Matt, it was no one. Probably still holding out for Matt. It's a truly sad situation, man, because it's not like Lita's an ugly woman or anything like that, but she gave her best years to wrestle. She spent her life traveling and doing what she loved to do. But for women, it's kind of hard. Some of these women, they smart to get out young and they hurry up and settle down, have kids and everything. Lita, she's what, 50 now? She's not too young to get married. But I think she's too old. I mean, she's not too old to get married. She might be too old to have kids, though. But then again, maybe she don't want any. Who knows? The Luther Reigns, Mark Jindrak era of Kurt Angle. That Luther Reigns, man, what a bum. He was a sawed-off bum. He was jacked for no reason. He had nothing else going for him. Do I think Edge would have gotten to the main event without Lita? Vince was going to force it. So, yes, he would have gotten there. It probably wouldn't have been as effective. Again, Vince made his mind up in 2002 that Edge was going to be a main event guy. It didn't happen until 2006, but he got him there. Again, he tried in 2003 with Edge as a top guy. He was wrestling Brock. They put him in a tag team, all that stuff with Rey Mysterio. They teamed him up with Hulk Hogan. And then in 2004, they tried again when he was going to be the Evolution Killer and all that. And then 2005, they turned him heel. They put him with Lita. And that's when things started to click. In 2007, he was almost officially a top guy. He's worthy of main event shows. So Vince was going to force the issue. So Edge was not going to fail because Vince wasn't going to let him fail. But it probably wouldn't have been as effective without Lita. That's one thing I said. Again, when Vince has made his mind up that somebody is the top guy, then it is what it is. All they got to do is not fuck it up. And you could tell when they fucked it up because then Vince just sours on them 100% and they start looking like fools all the time. John Cena roasting Lita in 2006 was great. He was calling her a hoe every week. I think she took all that stuff personally, man. Watching 2003 WWE, not having Kane win the world title when he was unmasked was when it was over for him. I agree. I was okay with them unmasking him. I didn't like that they did it on Raw. And I didn't like that he didn't win the title after that. What's the timestamp? Timestamp is 1 hour, 20 seconds. Lita is 49. Ooh, boy. Well, she'll be 50 next year. Sheesh. Old lady. She's an old bird. I never liked that Kurt Angle used his ankle lock like this all the time. I never was a big fan of that. Like, I get that it's in the story that they're telling about Guerrero and the boot and all this kind of stuff, but it's burying his finisher that he's using it so early for starters and using it to weaken him rather than to finish the match. Angle is on every drug imaginable in this thing too. You can look at him and tell. The whole Triple H Kane, KD Vic storyline was trash. Well, it involved Triple H, and it was in like 2003 or 2002, so of course it was trash. I don't think he had anything good happening that time. I don't think he had anything good. I'll tell you, that's my favorite John Cena promos. He said that Vicky Guerrero was so fat she wakes up in sections. Man, that shit was almost 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, 14 years ago, or whatever. And I remember it. It's hilarious. Mark Jindrak was on Twitter recently talking about all the cool moves he should have did in WWE. It's like, bro, nobody cares about cool moves. You look too much like Randy, so it wasn't going to work. Do I remember that when Eugene was one of Jim Cornette's guys and he wanted WWE to push, and now Cornette rebuked his friendship with Eugene over Hogan endorsed Trump speech. Yeah, that's a pretty humorous thing. I think he ended up. The crazy thing is, I just saw. Maybe matter of fact, I'm gonna save it when Eugene comes on the screen. Save it instead of talking about it now. The Triple H HBK feud was good in 2002. Well, yes, because it involved Shawn Michaels, but pretty much everything else he did was not good. His feud was Kevin Nash. Man, how about that? How about that? Biker shorts, clean shaven. Oh, oh, that was very bad. I don't know why Triple H keeps saying that he wasn't supposed to be in Evolution when he was clearly in the photos and you can see him. Like the weird thing is, ever since they put that out there have been people have been coming out saying like, "Oh no, it was never going to be him. It was always going to be Randy, or it was always going to be Batista. It was one or the other." And the photos and there's video of him in the suits and everything. He's there, like we see it clearly. But apparently, Jindrak and Orton were friends, and they were both being very immature. And Triple H didn't want to deal with both of them, so he picked one, and the other one had to go. I don't know why you just didn't keep them separate on separate brands, but I also think that he had the WCW stink on him, and Vince didn't want to deal with that. But Jindrak was super athletic for a guy his size. My God, incredibly athletic guy. Ryan Hebner and that joint sweat. He having a rough day. I haven't seen the trailer. Maybe I need to take a look at it. Of the new Batman animated series. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be shit anyway. Top Dog says Triple H not wanting Jindrak and Evolution because him and Orton was goofing around. It's funny because he always goofed around in DX and the Click. Well, Triple H is not exactly a man of standards. I guess he figured he could only save one of them because Orton was enough for trauma. Was enough drama. The stuff that he was doing to the girls was kind of crazy. But the thing is, a lot of that stuff he kind of owned up to at this point. Oh, great overhead belly to belly suplex there by Kurt Angle. It worked out better anyway since Batista is way better than Mark. Yeah, he's more interesting. I still don't know what Mark Jindrak does except jump over the top rope. I haven't ever seen him do anything of And he never did anything in the United States either. So it's not like he went to Ring of Honor and killed it, or went to TNA and lit it on fire or anything like that. He basically just went to Triple A and jumped over the top ropes a lot, and was like big lucha guy. That's weird. I don't know about they're both bad for different reasons. The Heidenreich and Wheeler Yuta. I don't know. If you had to tell me I had to watch a Heidenreich match or a Wheeler Yuta match, I probably would choose Heidenreich because the knowledge is I doubt a Heidenreich match is more than 10 minutes. Wheeler Yuta is likely to have a 30-minute match, and the shit's gonna be boring as fuck. Kurt said he wished he'd wrestled WCW Eddie instead of broken down Eddie after the addiction issue. Well, they both had the same problems, but it was clear that if he'd got to wrestle 97 Eddie, they would have had some really incredible shit to do. Because Eddie was smaller. He was his natural size, by the way. He's bloated here. He's on everything possible. But that was clever. Very clever to pull the ref. Oh, Rikishi was in TNA? I was about to call him JT Smooth. That was that was when he was in Memphis. What did they call him in TNA? What was his name? Yeah, I played the Arkham games. I played the first two. Was it Arkham Asylum and Arkham City? I think it was. I like both of those games. I had them on the 360. Kenny Omega's about to fucking retire, bro. It's I think if Omega does return, he ain't gonna be around much longer. Diverticulitis, that took a lot of out of him. He's probably gonna come back smaller. The diverticulitis really screwed up Brock too. Junior Fatu. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, he was in, I think it's man, you about to get me the line. He was in WCW. He was Fatu. I think he was, but I think they also had Samu, who was also there. And I think they the Islanders. No, they called them Samoan SWAT team. I don't remember what. I think that was in the 80s though. Xbox. Yeah, I love the Xbox 360. It's a great machine. I still got mine. I don't know if it still works or not. I like this is a sensible finish. Really good match between these two guys. Really good match. X9 says that Kenny's final match should be with Okada. And yes, I'd probably watch that. Would only make sense. They both busted up. That'd be like Flair and Sting when at the final Nitro. I only watch that. I only respect that if they both retire afterwards. Because Okada, he beat the shit too. He like Nicky Santoro after he got beaten with the bats. That's how Okada moving around now. And he's not. I don't even think he's 40 yet. He beat the shit. Do I think Roman's coming back at SummerSlam? Well, SummerSlam is what Triple H likes to do returns. He likes to do it at Money in the Bank, and he likes to do it at SummerSlam. So maybe. I think it's sensible to do that. But it's all about how do you get it? How do you do it? Do you put, well, clearly Solo's not winning the belt. So it's not going to be like Solo wins the belt and then Roman shows up. So it's got to be something else. Was WCW Eddie just as bad? Well, he was worse when it comes to drugs. If you want to be honest, he would have had great matches, but he would have. It was a disaster outside the ring. Eugene's favorite wrestler of all time was Triple H. What a joke. That absolutely defines kayfabe. Nobody's favorite wrestler is Triple H. Yikes. I do remember this epic thing between William Regal and Triple H, though. That was dope. We could have did that instead of whatever this is they're about to do here. Without the drugs, imagine 97 Eddie versus 97 Shawn Michaels. If you really want to see something, put them both on the drugs. I mean, why take away the good thing? Why take away what made it work? Just put like a bag of cocaine or some pills or something on a pole or something, and really watch the show go down. They beat the shit out of Eugene. Jesus Christ. Look at William Regal. Look how good he is in this role right here. You think that was a connection? It's crazy that William Regal is the mentor. Look at this guy. Damn, is it? How many times you hit him with the sledgehammer, bro? Oh my god, bro! I remember this match being long as hell. My good, 14 minutes. Oh my god, what the hell are they doing? What was Triple H? Where did he slip in Vince's drink to get 14 minutes? They legit put Eugene in the main event match, though. They sick. Time to play the game. Oh Lord. Oh boy. I don't eat after 7. I certainly need a snack right by now. 1 hour, 18 minutes, 25 seconds. 1 hour, 18 minutes, 35 seconds. The timestamp. This is why I hear people say 2004 was bad. Well, yeah, Benoit's not a draw. They're not, and he just holding the belt to lose it to Randy. And Triple H is doing dumb shit with Eugene. What else is there on this goddamn show? What else are they doing on Raw? For God's sake. They're trying to make Edge, and they're taking their sweet ass time doing it. But this should have just been Edge and Triple H, for God's sake, rather than doing this. And just, I don't know. I guess they wanted to lead up to Edge wrestling Triple H because, Triple H was supposed to be like the main guy. They should have had Edge wrestle Flair then, for God's sake. The Eugene gimmick would not work in this day and age. Terrible gimmick anyway. Yes. I always said that the perfect way to end Eugene was for everybody to find out at the end that he was faking. Like, that would have been perfect heat if he'd have faked being special needs the entire time. That would have been massive. And guess what? Everybody would have been pissed off. Just like when Billy and Chuck pretended to be gay. Just imagine somebody faked being special needs just to get on the WWE roster and played the fans for fools And then it turned out that he was never special needs. It was all just bullshit in order to get a job. But then they turned him into a booger eater, and I was like, yeah, it's definitely going to be over with at that point. You're definitely not going to get anybody behind somebody who eats boogers. So we need a Eugene type in modern WWE to have to go crazy over Tiffany Stratton. Like, if they didn't have so many crazy female characters already, like everybody want to be spooky girl and stalker girl, and it's a little too much of that right now. Mid-90s Shawn Michaels had to be one of the most interesting wrestlers backstage, fucking a prime hot Sonny, getting beat up by Marines. And he ended up fucking up his eye around that time too. Like he was having way too much fun. Why is Eugene's theme an 80s sitcom? I have no idea. Eugene had never been pinned at this time. I don't know. I wasn't watching Raw at this time. I haven't gone back and watched. Eugene is not a character I was that interested in. But I did find out that the entirety of the Eugene character was Nick Dinsmore's idea. He's the one who pitched it to Vince. And Vince, of course, took it to the next level because that's what Vince does. But the entire idea was Nick Dinsmore's idea. Hi, their football game is back. They're having the Hall of Fame game. That's not really a football game. What is he doing? Why is he grabbing Lillian Garcia? Oh, shit. JR hates him some Triple H, boy. Jesus Christ. I can't believe Jim Cornette thought Nick Dinsmore had talent. Look, I guess he's a serviceable, in-ring guy. But look at the state of him, for God's sake. What was you going to do with this guy to make him interesting? Bret Hart, Sunny Days in '97. Well, there's a lot of good wrestlers, man. He wasn't the only one. But the guys that Cornette liked were like super boring dudes who had no personality and no gimmick whatsoever. And one of the guys he wanted Vince to push was basically just like the fucking nephew of OVW's owner or whatever. Wasn't like one of the Bashams? Wasn't he like the son-in-law, nephew, or something of like Danny Davis? Nick Dinsmore, Rob Conway, and the Basham brothers were Jim Cornette's guys. That he had talent, but WWE and Vince say otherwise. Rob Conway, he never really got started in WWE. He did a lot of Resistance. They gave him a short time as a solo act, but of that group, I think Dinsmore had the most chance because of the gimmick. But Rob Conway, he was a solo act for a little while. And you know what? I never see anything about that guy. I never hear anything about him. I know he was the NWA World Champion, but he disappeared. He like vanished off the face of the earth. Like nobody talked about Rob Conway at all. Yeah, I think they holding Jim Ross hostage at this point, bro. He got to be at gunpoint because it's been like 2 or 3 years of him trying to. I think he just does AEW because he doesn't want to sit in that empty ass house by himself. You know, I don't. I don't even think he likes the product, and I think you're right about that. He's been open and honest about his dislike of the product for like 3 years, but it's never been more apparent than when he finally does come out and he doesn't really put over anybody. Hey, the cabinet was a good idea. He was the president, so he had to have a cabinet. I think Sean talked about going to WCW because he had issues with Brett, and he wanted to get the hell out of there. And plus, I'm pretty sure Hall and Nash was telling them what kind of money they can get for him. Man, I just don't understand why this match is still going on. I'm at that point already with this. And this ain't even been on that long. Mr. Wrestling 2 knee lift. Orlando, boy, going to TNA has never made anybody's career worse. Like Orlando Jordan. He really nuked his career from orbit by going to TNA. Because everything he did in TNA absolutely ruined him forever. I don't think anybody wanted to see anything Orlando Jordan ever did after that. Eugene getting Eugene sucked. Well, he does suck. Yeah, Jesse Ventura, he should have been on screen. I don't know why they didn't use him on screen. There's pictures of him and CM Punk and everything. It looked like it was fun times man had backstage, man. I wanted to see Jesse Ventura on TV. Why not? From what I saw from the Chris Van Vliet thing, they're gonna have Karrion Kross do his Jesse Ventura, his hilarious Jesse Ventura impersonation, probably via Zoom or something. It's gonna be hilarious. There's a photo of Shawn Michaels wearing an outsider shirt in '96. Well, I'm not surprised. They went over there. They got huge money. They got super pushes. I'm pretty sure he was like, "Damn, I want some. Give me some." I don't know. Triple H being a star of the show was a mistake. Huge mistake. I think that people need to realize that WWE is a babyface territory. You can have a top heel, but this idea that we're going to have heels running forever, that's not what this company is built on, bro. This is a company of Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, Hulk Hogan. You can't have I'm very surprised Roman Reigns was able to get away with it as long as he did, and that's due to the storytelling. But it is a babyface territory. So when Triple H is booking the babyfaces terribly, like he's booking Cody and Bayley into oblivion at this point, he's really going against what the fans want. CM Punk hates Hulk Hogan. Well, a lot of these people hate Hulk Hogan. It's very unfortunate. He's also a Roddy Piper mark, so that kind of goes for, and a Bret Hart mark, so, and a Cornette mark, and all these guys hate Hogan. All those guys hate Hogan. I bet you they had a fun conversation though. When I was in the Marines, they shot me up with chemtrails. And I was shooting the Viet Cong from 400 miles away. Yeah, Jack Triple H was interesting. He's still jacked here though, but he insists on being a work rate guy, and I don't understand that. It's not the place for it. Look at the state of this. Why would it take you 15 minutes to fight the Riri character? Come on, bro. This match is super long, bro. I know in some people's book 15 minutes is it's like Greg Valentine. He's just warming up. But my God, this match has been on forever. I'm in pain. I'm in pain, man. I feel bad for the referee at this point. He had to be a part of this. The crowd is like not interested at all. They don't care about Eugene. They don't like him. Triple H is to try hard. He's trying very, very hard. I think Jim Ross is the only one really paying attention. Taz is probably over there asleep. He ain't had nothing to do for a while. This is chunky Triple H after the Royals were off. No, he actually all right. He was worse in 03. This is not bad. He was really fat in 03. It was awful. Triple H grew up as a fan of Bruno, the Ric Flair, the Harley Races, and he was trained by Killer Kowalski. And what do they say about Kowalski that he wasn't that good? Well, Triple H grew up in the Northeast, so that's probably why he watched Bruno. But I think both him and Shawn were basically NWA guys. And Triple H based all of the stuff that he did off of NWA guys, like Race and Flair. I didn't see any. I don't see any Bruno in Flair in Triple H. What Triple H is doing. I do see him doing his best Harley Race impersonation though, and of course him doing Flair stuff and him doing Ray Stevens stuff. But Bruno, I don't see it. But Killer Kowalski, I don't remember him being that bad. Like I've seen a couple of matches. I don't think he was that bad. He ended up being a really good trainer though. Top Dog said you find it dumb they had Orton win the title just to lose it to a month Triple H later. I'm not surprised he did that. Again, that's another one of those story time things. Randy had gotten to the top, but they were telling the story that Triple H couldn't beat Chris Benoit. He had a bunch of matches and lost. So Orton beats him. Triple H gets jealous because Orton beat Benoit. And then he takes the title from him. And then Orton ruined it, and they ended up killing Orton's push at the Royal Rumble. And then that ended up with because I got a feeling that it was supposed to be Orton and Triple H at WrestleMania. Just got a feeling that's what it was supposed to be. And it ended up not happening. Where was Jeff Hardy at this time? I think he was in TNA because he was off and on in TNA. I think he left TNA officially and because he was doing no shows and stuff like that. So maybe he was in TNA full of no shows. Yeah, because he was at Victory Road 2000. Well, he's on the cover of Victory Road 2004. I don't know if he actually appeared or not. Why would anybody like this character, man? This match is going on forever. I remain that Eugene should have just been a one big gimmick. And he should have just came out and just said, I was never special needs. I'm not retarded. Do you think John Cena, after the Thug gimmick, was a Hulk Hogan ripoff? He didn't do anything different. He was just the same thing as Hogan and Bruno and those guys. He was the top guy. But it was substantially, I think, less patriotic than Hogan, but had the similar principles, for a new generation. And I think people like having heroes, so I'm okay with it. I'll give it a pass. Dang, Flair ain't been out there 5 minutes and he already got ejected. It's crazy. Ric Flair was old 20 years ago. That's how old that man is. He was old 20 years ago. Look at William. Oh, shit. He looking very dapper. Very debonair, that William Regal. Are you serious? Please tell me this is the finish. Praise God. I don't think Stone Cold thing was a time capsule. That shit couldn't work. Whoever decided to book them for 14 minutes, Vince, Pat Patterson, Bruce Pritchard, somebody, they need to get thrown in a blender. Why would you do this? This match was just whoa. Look at him pulling Flair out. I'd have watched William Regal go 14 minutes with Triple H, but Eugene, yeah, get the fuck out of here. I don't even want to see a replay. Just go to the next match. What's next? It's probably the world title match next, right? So it's probably JBL and Undertaker. You got a pocket watch. You can see the chain here. JBL Undertaker should be fine. This was a disaster. I don't know why they decided to make this match 14 minutes. Oh, Diva Dodgeball is next. Hey, it's Coach Diva. Where are they at? I thought they was doing this in the ring. Team Dream. Oh my goodness. Oh, holy hell. After that match, I needed some divas. I need some women. Oh, hey, boo. She's like a Spice Girl. When did they sign Michelle McCool? I didn't know she was there in 2004. Christy Hemme, I remember her being there. But Michelle McCool, I don't remember her being there. Trish Stratus is great. She was there in the Attitude Era. She's there doing this dumb shit. She came back, did some other stuff. She could truly do everything. She could do bimbo shit. She could do serious female stuff. Oh, she's not wearing a wig. Her render was just in a wig. I know Jazz was pissed she had to do this shit. I bet Gail Kim is probably like not so happy about this either. She's doing her best. Is that Nydia? Victoria's Jack. Look at her goddamn back. Lord have mercy. The heel team is actually wearing clothes. The babyface team is like damn near naked. Even short hair Molly trumps most of the women Triple got his nose on. Oh Lord. Is that Maria? I think so. No, I think it's Christy Hemme. I'm not sure if Maria is on that side or not. I didn't see her. Maria was the girl, Eugene. I think she came a little bit later. She's kind of an idiot savant too. I think yeah, it is Maria. So she was there in 2004. Holy hell. So Maria, Michelle McCool, and Christy Hemme was all there together. I didn't know that. I knew Jazz was there. She came right after ECW closed. And Gail Kim had two different stints in WWE. That black girl on the yeah, her right there and orange top. I have no idea who that girl is. She cheated, by the way. Jazz is a cheater. She crossed the line. And none of these people can throw, for God's sake. I know this sounds bad on paper, but I'm very intrigued by the dodgeball concept. That's Crystal Marshall. I seen a picture of her recently. I don't remember her looking like that. These broads cannot throw. She's throwing with two hands, overhand, and not hitting anything with no force whatsoever. She has no upper body strength whatsoever. I'd rather watch this than Zoe Stark, though. I can tell you that. Hemi, you're terrible. Wait, that wasn't Christy Hemi. Who was that? Oh, shit. She almost got her hat taken off. Kelly was dumb. She was supposed to be naive, but she ended up being just dumb. Damn, they skunking these girls. They skunked them. That's for you. So they gonna jump them, ain't they? They're about to just attack them and beat them up. Yeah, I know Jazz is kind of shitty about this. She was wrestling men in ECW, and now she's doing Diva dodgeball. That's hilarious. Hit her right in the head. Good gracious. Michelle McCool is probably like the most athletic person out there who's not like a bodybuilder or something. Oh no, Trish. Oh shit. Oh, Trish and Victoria having a thing. Let them fight. They're not even partners anymore. Her name is Tracy Wright. The black girl with the orange top. I have never heard that one before in my life. Who is that woman? Yeah, William Regal was supposed to have a big push after he won King of the Ring, and then he got busted with the drugs. Really unfortunate. JBL Undertaker. This is about to be something. I remember the last. What was the match they had with the casket? I forget what it was, and I think that's where they basically just put Undertaker with somebody else after that. Undertaker JBL. This should be fun though. Two big dudes, veterans. JBL needs some to solidify his character. Undertaker, of course, has to protect his character. For God's sake, he can't do a job to JBL. So this match definitely by the end of disqualification. 2004, 2005, Candice Michelle was peak hotness. Oh my God. Oh, Lord have mercy. She was hot. She was like, she never get any respect for how good she was either. She was becoming a good wrestler too. She was actually of the Diva. She was not bad. And she was trying really hard, and injuries basically ended her career. I don't know when the last time I seen her. I think Caitlyn wanted to come back too. She's still a fitness model or whatever. She's still fairly young too, last I checked. A lot of those Diva girls kind of want to come back now because it's a different time and people don't really remember like Caitlyn though. Like, why would they remember that? She had a short run, really short run. I would rather watch Diva dodgeball than watch 90% of the women's matches that come on television. I'm not even gonna hold you up. They would definitely have more fun with them watching them playing dodgeball. Mark Henry's son. Oh. Jacob Henry. Oh, Oh, he's a big teddy bear looking kid though. He looked just like Mark. For God's sake, he's like a grow a beard or something. Put a mask on him or something like that. Eve Torres is underrated, especially that 20 heel run. She was hot. Oh yeah, she was fire. My favorite is still Layla though. My goodness, and the young lady of French and Moroccan extraction from NXT UK. I forget what her name is, but was it Amel? Nope, he's not in AEW anymore. His son played football, if I remember correctly. So he might be like an NIL talent. Did he decide to go to college, or he gonna come to the main roster? Undertaker had gray hair in 2004. That's crazy. He's dying it black. He come to the ring before Bradshaw. That's nuts. Bradshaw definitely should have came to the ring first. Oksana was I don't know. She wasn't there that long. She's one of those girls that came and went. Somebody recently did an interview where they said they were supposed to be in JBL's cabinet because she and Bradshaw were friends, and she was supposed to take Jillian Hall's spot. And I forget who the girl was though, but she was in develop. Oh, it was Angelina Love actually. She was in developmental, and she was supposed to come up. And once Jillian Hall's face got eaten or whatever, she was supposed to take Jillian Hall's spot, and then that was going to lead to the two of them feuding. But then they decided not to do it, which is weird. So Angelina Love was almost in WWE, even though she was on a developmental for like 3 years and was sitting around with Jody Hamilton and Deep South. X9 hates Joe Hendry. So he's a loser. He absolutely loses a lot, but he's a great gimmick. A great gimmick guy. Great character. Mark said his son is the next MJF. I'm not going to take Mark Henry at his word. He's talking about his son. What are you going to do? Say his son's the shits? I want to see him do something. I thought Devon's boys were in WWE too. Apparently not. Kelly was getting a lot of them started getting good near the end. Like they started getting decent because they got some experience. So they started getting somewhat decent, and then all of a sudden the rug got pulled from underneath them. Every single one of them. Most of them were thrown on TV before they were ready. And then when they started getting decent, they started injuries piled up, or they decided they wanted to go do television shows or movies or whatever and left. Oh, you don't hate Joe Hendry. Oh, okay. That's fine. That's a better opinion. That's a superior opinion. Yes, Big Show is still there. I saw it. There was a video of him working at an indie show actually, and he just looks like the Statue of Liberty trying to wrestle. He needs to call it quits. He should have called it quits 25 years ago. You saw Amal on Instagram. She's skinny now. Oh no! Why would she do that to herself? I was always hoping she'd come back. She said she wasn't going to close the door on coming back, but she didn't want to move to the U.S. when they was pulling people over to NXT UK. I think, or she might have been one of the girls they didn't ask. Because I know they didn't ask Saya Brookside, but Amel was kind of green, even though she was like the WXW Women's Champion. She was still kind of green. But when she became a heel in NXT UK, she was actually pretty good. She was fun. She ain't do shit but go back on the indies and do the same thing she was doing already. What do I expect to get out of Trish Stratus A&E by girl boss shit? It's gonna be interesting watching her try to, are they even going to touch on her barking like a dog and how she's going to spin that? I mean, because ultimately, a lot of weird things Vince did. If you poke these things out of context, you do have to, what do you mean? I have to bark like a dog. But then when you put it into the context that she gets hers in the end, but she gets to kick Vince in the nuts and cost him the match and all that kind of stuff. What is Undertaker doing? Why is he doing an arm bar? Is he pulling a rib on Bradshaw? There's a lot of wrestlers' kids coming in the future. The Hardy kids, Umaga's son. Well, is it like King Matthew or what's the name? King Maxwell? Isn't he like 11? he's, he's not that old. He's not old enough to be in a wrestler. He's not even a teenager yet. I think he might be like 8. No, he's older than 8. He might be like 11 or 12. But yeah, Umaga's son, he's itching to get into WWE, but he's too green, and everybody knows it. I've seen him live. He's very green. They're gonna get him in there eventually, anyway, because he's very aggressive. But he's been itching, trying to get in. Undertaker trolling. He's doing a triangle choke. He's trolling at this point. The Knockouts division in 2000s, early 2010 was a nice balance between in-ring and hot women. All those chicks had huge tits. Everybody was talking about how much TNA was doing better than WWE. It's like, find me a match between some chicks in TNA where the titties wasn't big as the turnbuckles. What was this? What was that one chick? Was it Tracy Brooks? She had an absolutely huge rack. Was it Brooke? It was like, might have been both of them. Absolutely huge rack. I'm like, man, they were just the Divas era with more time. That's all. They were still flirting with guys and they weren't doing dodgeball and wrestling in mud and stuff, but the skimpy outfits and all that stuff, they were doing all that same shit for the most part. There was just some minor, no Vince McMahon kind of game. What is Undertaker get his leg off the ropes? What are my thoughts on Tony Khan's character Hologram as he's a glacier for AEW? Well, he was dead in the water the moment he became a Collision exclusive character. And he's more like the Suicide. You remember Suicide from TNA? That's pretty much what he is at this point. Jeff has children in their early teens. Don't he got daughters though, right? He got girls. I don't think his girls don't want to wrestle. Maybe one of them might. Oh shit. I think everybody wants AJ Lee to come back. She might pop up for the Royal Rumble just to shut everybody up. But I don't think she's gonna make like any kind of full comeback. I think she's been out the business for too long. And I think if she does come back and she doesn't do good, then people are gonna complain and kill the mystique of her. Wait, did he hit him with a chair right in front of the ref? Or did Orlando Jordan have the ref? Matt had children way too old. Well, yeah. Because I know King Maxwell, he's the oldest of the, and he's not that old. I'll be surprised if he's even 12. They was just on TNA a couple of weeks ago, and they were all still kids. Isn't she still running WoW? Just let her run WoW. Let her do that. That's never a huge fan of AJ Lee. She's very petite. I guess if you need somebody, a women's minis championship, with like Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan, you could bring AJ Lee back. They could be the mini girls division. You know what? Maybe that's what they should do with the cruiserweight title and make it a women's belt. The WWE Cruiserweight Championship, because none of the women are heavyweights. Even the heaviest, well, I guess except Nia Jax, she's a heavyweight, and Piper Niven, she's a fatty too. Other than that, everybody else in that, I think Rhea Ripley is probably 200 pounds, maybe 210 pounds. Are they doing the wave? Oh, good Lord, they're doing the wave. What do you expect them to do? These guys are in here doing ankle locks and triangle chokes and arm bars. They don't way too much time. Bradshaw is not a work rate guy. What is he doing? Are you serious? That was a hell of a counter. You think her spine fucked up? She didn't retire due to injury, did she? Because if she did retire due to injury, I would understand why she didn't come back. Yes, I heard Eminem release a new album. Had no intention of hearing it. I listened to it. Oh my God! Undertaker and JBL decided to just troll everybody by doing these wrestling holds. Undertaker, like, I've been watching UFC. Watch me put you in this triangle choke and do this roll through into the knee bar. And everybody else is like, you're Undertaker. Why would you do a knee bar? Maxwell was 9. Okay. Yeah, I knew he wasn't that old. I just saw him on TV. He's very chibi. Couldn't been that old. 17 minutes. Oh my God. What was Vince thinking? You could have took time from this and time from Eugene and Triple H and made another match. For God's sake. Look, I appreciate that JBL and Undertaker are trying to show off their repertoire. But this match is too long. And it's going to end in disqualification, so this match is too long. Punk said she had back problems. Oh, well, that makes sense. She was small, taking a lot of bumps and everything. JBL versus Eddie at Judgment Day is the greatest DQ finish because it made sense for the story. I still think they should have did it on TV. I would prefer they didn't do DQs on pay-per-view, especially in main event matches. Certainly don't do DQs. It's a surefire way to piss everybody off. Unless you can find a way to end the show hot, like Mind Games, where that match ended in disqualification, but nobody cared because the match was hot, and then the ending was hot. So everybody kind of forgot that the match ended in disqualification. Unless you can do something like that, I wouldn't bother. Just go ahead and do a finish. It doesn't have to be a clean finish. Just do a finish, or work the match on TV and do a disqualification. Fuck it. I'm okay with DQs on TV. I'm not okay with DQs on pay-per-view. It also depends on the match and the characters involved. Yeah, Eminem should have retired in like 2008. He been laundry for several years now. Listening to Eminem album is like watching The Mask. You know, all the crazy voices and sounds and all that shit. Like the silly imagery. They have Penguin. Oh, so that's where that picture came from. It came from the new Batman cartoon when they turned the Penguin into a woman. That's weird. Why would they do that? Did they shrink her nose? You already know they're gonna be asking about the Jew nose. I shouldn't say that, but you know people are gonna ask about it. Yeah, Undertaker and JBL, they should go to wrestler's court for this. Because JBL is botching the shit out of this, whatever it is he's trying to do here. The funk spinning toe hold. He using the Terry Funk spinning toe hold, bro. I had to try to take both of their asses to wrestler's court over this. It's not even that the match is bad. It's just that they're doing shit that's so out of character that it's so funny. That's clearly because they trolling. People think that they can't work, so they go in there and start doing knee bars and Terry Funk toe spinning toe holds. Get out of here with this garbage. She's probably been lifted. She's tiny though. She's still short. Yeah, I don't know if I need to watch that. I'll watch the trailer or whatever, I guess, and give my thoughts on it some other time. But oh, see, he's selling while he's running. That's a master at work, brother. And the only thing he had was a spinning toe hold and a couple of elbow drops. Snake eyes. I love the snake eyes big boot combo. Oh, that was a clever. Oh, ooh, that was nice. Great lariat there from Undertaker. I still don't understand why this match is so long. It's not as bad as Triple H versus Eugene, though. I couldn't even get nowhere near. I couldn't get nowhere near that. I watched like the first 20 episodes of Ben 10. I got bored and stopped watching. Everybody keeps telling me to push through it. I couldn't do it. I can't make it. If it was anime, I might be able to push through it, but it's American cartoons. I can't get through it. I tried TMNT 2003. I can't get through it. I'm already further in Fist of the North Star than I ever have been. Because I usually couldn't get anywhere with that either. And then I found a filler site. So I'm like, I was able to get through it. Ooh wee! Great lariat. Fantastic lariat. And you see how he doesn't bury his finisher by going for the pin immediately? He didn't bury his finish. American anime is kind of well, yeah, it is. They don't know what makes anime good. It's just they think it's the art style. It's not though. It's that anime is genuine. And it's still made with very simple storylines that's easy for people to follow. And the characters are relatable. People like the characters. Well, ref bump, okay, we're in bullshit territory. Can I still watch Batman the animated series? I got to Heart of Ice and then I kind of just forgot to go back through it. So maybe I can watch it. Ben 10 just wasn't for me though. I didn't. I like Danny Phantom better than Ben 10. Like when I was watching Danny Phantom, I breezed through that. I thought that was good. Same thing with Samurai Jack. I thought that was really good. Gennady Tartakovsky. All his stuff is pretty good. The Common America, I just ordered the another one of the trades. I got a bunch of them. I haven't been ordering them from Indiegogo or whatever they've been doing them on. I've been waiting until they get published in whoever the publish is it Antarctic Press. I've been waiting for them to publish them, and I've been getting them out of the comic book store. I hate ordering things online. I don't like doing it. Well, I mean, I don't like Ooh, that's a second clothesline for that. That's pretty good. I agree. Danny Phantom it's underrated, very underrated. You almost never hear people talk about Danny Phantom. But I just had fun with the show, and I thought it was funny. Ben 10, which I think is a bigger franchise that a lot more people was interested in. I just couldn't get into it. But everybody claims it's like Naruto or Dragon Ball, where it's actually better once Ben gets older. But I feel like you have to get to that point. And for me, Naruto was better when Naruto was young anyway. Naruto went off the rails at Shippuden, as far as I'm concerned. Ooh, shit. That boot was nuts. Oh, that's why he got disqualified, because he hit him with the belt. Lord. I should watch Generator Rex. It was on Cartoon Network from the early 2010s. Also, Symbiotic Titan. People want Danny Phantom to come back. I think they'll ruin it if he brought it back. Bruce Timm? Is he's the one, he's doing the art for the characters and everything? Because why in the world would you make Penguin a female? You don't just create a new female villain. That's what he did when he created Harley. Undertaker missed that punch, by the way. You like Invader Zim? I think I've seen it. I've seen the art style. It's not really my thing. Why is he bleeding? 2012 TMNT was pretty good. I've been trying to watch 2003. Those noises, the ooh samurai noises. It feels so cheesy. It's hard for me to get through when I keep hearing that shit every 2 seconds. He made Harley Quinn Asian. Oh, this is yeah. I don't know about this one, Brody. He's a bloody mess. Nah, it would be Danny Phantom with an I, having Tucker be gay, Sam some real muscle mommy. Wow, that's such an obviously split roof. It didn't even bend. It should have. A roof is supposed to bend, not just open up like that. At least the fans aren't booing anymore. They're not doing the wave anymore. So. I heard the Thundercats was actually pretty good. I started watching it on TV, and next thing I lost contact of it, and next thing I know, it was over, and they had canceled it. Do I think they're going to try to do something, make a Bebop remake? I think they need to leave Bebop alone. They did enough damage with this live action thing. Unless it's going to be by the creators of Bebop, then maybe. But then again, the creators of Trigun, I don't know. I haven't heard about them bringing that back. So maybe it didn't work out the way they wanted it to. J.J. Abrams, pass. As soon as I saw that name, I pass. I'm gonna go ahead and take a walk on that one. J.J. Abrams, he does nothing but subversion. He can't help nobody. So the match, Undertaker, Bradshaw, it was just too long. The stuff they were doing in it was fine. It was hard hitting, at least to a degree. They weren't in there trying to kill each other, but they laid their shit in. They did some unexpected things in terms of, some submission holds and some grappling and stuff, but the match was slow. and it was hard for people to get into. But I think this kind of was pretty dope right here. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't try to reboot Dragon Ball. And to be quite honest, they should reboot the original Dragon Ball with a new art style and for modern audience, not for modern audiences, but they would probably cut out all the sexual stuff that's in the original Dragon Ball. But why not do? They did Dragon Ball Z Kai. Why not just do Dragon Ball Kai, where it's Dragon Ball with all the filler taken out of it, with a new art style? I'm telling you, one of the most disrespectful things that you could do is watch Dragon Ball Z and not watch Dragon Ball. In my opinion, you have to know the story of Dragon Ball in order for Dragon Ball Z to really work. Like, you don't necessarily need it, but it's imperative for you to get the full experience, because you have to know. And too many people know now that, oh, Toriyama didn't think anything about Saiyans. But if you go back and watch Dragon Ball, it was clear Goku was not like a regular kid. And that was clear to everybody who watched the show or read the manga, that Goku was just an abnormal child. You know, it was never said that he was an alien, but it was constantly with him being abnormal. The fact that he could transform into a giant fucking ape was already weird, you know? And nobody else could do, like, when you talk to like certain YouTubers and they're like, well, there's like talking dogs and stuff. Like, what was a monkey boy? Like, none of these people transform into like giant apes or giant animals or anything like that. Like, like that's such a weird thing. To think that there's a race of people who could do that would be cool. It's a logical step. You can't skip the OG Dragon Ball, man. The low stakes Dragon Ball is actually pretty good. Wait a minute, what's happening here? Oh, it's main event time. Here comes Randall. There's no vignette for this. Apparently, there's a civil war over Dragon Ball brand. Yeah, I've heard about that. And the guy who left was one of the guys who's been keeping the brand alive. So you would think Toei would just ignore him, but they can't do that because he's been a powerhouse in helping keeping the brand alive. And he was Toriyama's right-hand man. So they can't just blow him off. Oh, yes. This is the Evolution. It was probably one of the top 5 greatest theme songs in WWE history, that old Evolution theme, brother. The Motorhead theme. Which makes me kind of pissy that they don't put any effort into themes anymore. Like, they had Motorhead doing themes. Why wouldn't they have, some of these kids who are starving for musical success today, and it's more of them than ever before. Why wouldn't they have those kids do music today? They had Lil' Kim perform Trish Stratus' theme song. Lil' Kim already had platinum records before she did that fucking song. 3-6 Mafia, Run DMC did a theme for WWE, and you listen to these things nowadays, and you like some 16-year-old in his home studio somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Mississippi is making better records than this shit. I don't need them to do licensed music. I just need them to do better music. Chris Benoit, the original Super Intercontinental Champion. Not that I dislike the guy for his wrestling skills. I dislike him because he murdered his son. But main events in big 4 pay-per-views in a year. Hell of a run for old Chris. They sure took the steam out of him, though. Jack Swagger in 2010 had a banger theme that was Rage Against the Machine. It was Rage Against the Machine? Like legit, or that was like a knockoff? Because WCW sometimes would do like knockoffs of songs, and that would be fine. Like they did a knockoff of like "Smell Like Teen Spirit" for Diamond Dallas Page. Oh, I'm about to say, damn, I'd have thought Rage Against the Machine would have been very expensive to give to like a Jack Swagger character. That's nuts. Somebody needs to ask Triple H about they need to reinvest in the music. He's focused. That's his focus stare. That's his focused Orton stare. This is probably Randy when he's at his most natural before he got juiced up in 09. But everybody saw that Randy was a natural. He just fit this role so easily. That's why I'm thinking of like Austin Theory. He reminds me so much of Randy Orton. And it seems like Triple H is kind of like, I'm just going to put an anchor in his ankles. He says, as it got older, I realized Naruto is a Dragon Ball cloud. Literally, Goku and Naruto got married in the last episode of both shows. Well, Kishimoto, that's the guy who created Naruto, right? He was inspired by Dragon Ball. So he just took the same concepts and took them to the next level because Toriyama was a gag mangaka and didn't take his manga too seriously. Especially if you read Dragon Ball, the first, I don't know, maybe 50 chapters or so, it's just gag shit, sex jokes and poop jokes and stuff like that. And it gets serious later. But it gets more serious as the series goes on. But he clearly was not that interested in the interconnectedness of the characters. Like Dragon Ball is such a weird show because it's not that clear that all the Dragon Ball characters are friends. There are some times where the characters have never had a conversation between each other, and the series has been going on for 30 years. And there's times where you be like, is there ever a conversation between like Tien and Vegeta that doesn't involve them threatening each other? And then those are so far apart. It's not clear that those two guys are friends. Like it's not clear that even Tien and Yamcha are friends really. They may be friendly, as in they see each other when it's time to fight somebody or something. But like that was the filler of Dragon Ball Z. They made it seem like they were all friends and they hung out at Bulma's house and ate barbecue and everything. But all that stuff is filler. It's never even clear that all the Dragon Ball characters are even friends. But Naruto, they spend a lot of time on really building a relationship between these characters. And that's where, it has its strong suit is in the character relationships. Oh, really? That's nice. All the bands Triple H likes are dead. Maybe that's it. I don't know. He should probably put somebody younger on it. They had a young boy. He was in NXT. They fired him, unfortunately. They should have put him in charge of the music. He did the NXT theme and everything. Drew McIntyre had a way better theme when he was younger and Broken Dreams. Yeah, I like that he said that he could bring it back, but he chooses not to. I like that they used it at Clash at the Castle and he lost. That was hilarious. He's pretty sure every mangaka was inspired by Toriyama. Well, that's true, but most of them have been. But he was pretty open about it, and a lot of the tropes that Dragon Ball has, a lot of the Shonen has, the pervy old mentor, they just took it and made it more serious. And now that everybody is so sensitive, the pervy mentor doesn't work anymore. And then when you had Jiraiya, he took it to the next level where he, died an honorable death and all that kind of shit. And everybody's like, "Oh, Master Roshi, it's been 30 years. He's still just a porno mag watching old man." It's like, well, yeah, that's just Dragon Ball, though. I do think that Naruto and Sasuke was very gay. It was very queer coded. It was very queer coded. His obsession with him was very queer. And it didn't make any sense outside of Naruto was he had to keep his word. It was like, yeah, no. It was kind of gay. And I think it was latently homosexual as it was supposed to be anyway. And I think that the series really took a weird turn when Sasuke disappeared for like years on end, and everybody was still like, "I love me some Sasuke. Where is Sasuke?" It's like in real life, if you disappear for that long, even your best friend is gonna be like, "Fuck you. I ain't seen you in forever. I'm not about to chase you around the planet Earth." But I liked it at least, but they put some emphasis on the characters and the character motivations, and other characters got a chance to shine. Whereas Dragon Ball is basically the Goku show. And they could try to be slick and put other characters with Goku, but it's essentially just a Goku show. Gordon's little intangibles are really good. Like he's selling very well here. He sells like when they were doing the test of strength, and he was shocked at how strong Benoit was. Like that was very cool too. Roshi is like century. I think he's canonically 300. I don't remember how old he is in the manga, but it's clear from the manga he's really really old. And he had drank like the water of eternal life or some shit. So I don't know if he's immortal or not. I don't think so. He's basically Dragon Ball immortal. So he doesn't really age anymore. He's not dead. So, did I like Naruto villains? Um, I wasn't a big fan of it becoming the Uchiha show. I wasn't too big of that because all the hacks started getting kind of ridiculous. That infinite Tsukiyomi was like, get the fuck out of here with this shit, okay? But I like I don't like that they tried to. I think they overhumanized some of the villains, which was my problem with Yu Yu Hakusho as well. And that's a problem Dragon Ball typically doesn't have. Even though Piccolo and Vegeta became good guys later, it was usually a good reason for it. They had to come together because a bigger threat had emerged. While in other shows, it's like some kind of flaw in the character, and they're like, oh, he's not really a bad guy. He's just misunderstood, or things could have turned out differently if. It's like, nah, Frieza blowing up the planet because he don't like these monkeys. I like that. I like that. I mean, I can't be mad at that. Just show me that the Saiyans are shit and they're dangerous. And then Frieza's like, you know what? I don't like these monkeys. Like I watched the story of Bardock, and even though Toriyama just designed the characters, he didn't really have anything to do with the story. It was phenomenal in telling the story of why Frieza was like, yeah, these Saiyans need to be stopped. like we need to do something about these monkeys. All right, they're dangerous. So even though none of them could actually harm him, he just was seeing into the future that if they continue this way, reproducing the way they reproduce and getting stronger with every fight, eventually they're going to become a headache. And I like that. He's an irredeemable asshole. He's still that way. Even though they brought Frieza into the tournament and everything, I don't. It would be a huge mistake to try to make Frieza a good guy. That would be a huge mistake. I wouldn't do that. But Dragon Ball suffered from not having recurring villains, and that's one of the things that I guess they're trying to fix. They're gonna have Frieza as a recurring villain, which is fine because most anime and shows have recurring villains. And I think that people who complain, like I don't think we need a Resurrection F, but if we got that to get like Frieza in the Broly movie, okay, good, fine. You know, Frieza could continue his machinations. But one thing I don't like is that Frieza has completely given up on the idea of, oh shit. Every time I watch a Benoit match, I see him bash his head on something. I'm like, oh, is that the one that did it? Is that what did it? Top Dog said there needs to be a study on how teenagers and young adults got massively soft and hypersensitive in the mid 2010s. Well, it's not much to it. They were basically taught to be offended by everything, by their teachers, and nobody was there. They have helicopter parents, helicopter teachers, and nobody ever told them to shut up and suck it up. That was the problem. People only act like that when you allow them to. Otherwise, they'll keep it. They may feel that way, but they'll keep it to themselves. Even if you feel something was objectification, and look, I can't help it. When I was reading the Dragon Ball manga, even I didn't like the Bulma and Master Roshi stuff. It was awkward, but that's because I've been spending so much time with people who would get offended by that sort of thing. I can understand if you read that in like '92, you thought it was you thought it was funny, but nowadays you're kind of like, oh, it is kind of creepy, but you can't help it. But it's not too many. It wasn't enough for me to be like, it should have been taken out of the book or it should be edited out. It was just kind of like, I wish it was less of this. What manga books you like never got the animated treatment, but you're okay with it being a book instead of an animated series? Oh, well, most of the manga I have on my shelf have turned into anime at some point. Maybe Candy and Cigarettes because it's not over yet. It's about to be over soon. But it's pretty good. From the Red Fog is okay. I don't know if they made a manga out of that, anime out of that yet. Um, let's see, Momo the Blood Taker. It's okay. But usually, I try if I watched like the manga, I try not to buy it in terms of. I try not to watch the anime if I read the manga. I try not to watch the manga if I read the anime. What read the anime, watch the anime. That way, I can at least, or at least I'll wait for a long time before I watch it. Like what took me so long to read Dragon Ball is the fact that I had watched the manga so many times. I mean, read the anime so. Let me slow down. Watched the anime so many times. From beginning, from the blue boxes to the orange boxes, I watched the whole thing. And the green box of GT. I watched all of it. No, I don't think they should even try to redeem Frieza. The only thing I have a problem with, they kind of forgot that Frieza wanted to be immortal. And now there's Dragon Balls all over the place. Like that is a good story right there. That Frieza could just go to a different planet and get Dragon Balls and try to become immortal. But they keep doing interesting things like bringing in like the Galactic Patrol and some people hate that kind of shit, but I'm okay because it's just expanding the world. And I think that I'm going to say this. I think that the Sandland is the manga that Toriyama worked on and the anime that he worked on, the movie rather, right before he passed. I think that's going to have something to do with Daima. I wouldn't be surprised because in Sandland, there's demons that are good guys. And it seems like what he likes to do is bring in other characters from his other manga into the Dragon Ball universe as a way of like cross-pollinating. So I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see like the Sandland characters in Dragon Ball. Well, clearly it's the main event time. Orton and Benoit. The timestamp is 2 hours, 30 minutes, 27 seconds. To a degree, there's always some level of accountability. Have you ever seen this anime called Akudama Drive? No. Top Dog says you remember being in middle school and seeing people 18 and older getting offended over the most little things possible. It was like the first time I saw high schoolers and college kids. Yeah, it's like they were taught basically that if you perceive that you are offended by something, you can get power from that. And a lot of that stuff is learned behavior. You know, people always been offended by weird shit. They never really had an ability to act on it until now. Roshi getting a nosebleed from seeing Boom's vagina was wild. Yeah, like, and she was 16 or something like that. That was crazy. Like her, being flirty and everything. She's a teenage girl. I mean, it is what it is. But him being like super, super flirty with her was a little much. Benoit, Randy, is 20-minute piece of work. It's a good match. Again, I don't know if it's 20 minutes should have been it, but it's the main event, so maybe. The point was to beat into Randy's head. They're going back to the sharpshooter. Matt Cardona returned to TNA. Oh. One thing I don't like about Dragon Ball, they just started to change colors of everything. They're just changing their hair colors and just, body colors. Like, I don't know. Golden Frieza, Black Frieza, Orange Piccolo. Come on. Why does Piccolo have to be orange? I understand you want to sell some toys, but why does he have to be orange? Now, why do we get from green to orange? Why is his skin color changing? Like, why do nobody ever explain why Frieza's skin color changes? Even in 2010, things still had edge to them, with people calling each other gay on Xbox 360. And that's part of it is, as these corporations started enforcing all these rules, people learned that they can get you kicked off things by, being offended. They decided they're going to do that. What do I think of the MCU's course correct with RDJ as Dr. Doom? Well, they had to do something to get people excited. And I think they got people talking, but I'm not sure if they're excited. It seems that they're going to go maybe the Iron Lad route, even though I don't know why they would do that. Because Iron Lad is not Dr. Doom. I think he grows up to be Dr. Doom. But other people who are more into the comics think that they're going to do some kind of what if story or something like that. I don't know. It don't really matter to me. It's all about the pivot away from Kang. That's really what it is. And I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm not going to watch it, so I don't care. But I do want to see how it's going to work out. Like, I don't think they're going to do Brian Michael Bendis did a Dr. Doom as Iron Man story. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do that. It says apparently Frieza chose the gold color to mock the Saints. Then what the hell did he choose the black color to mock? Mr. Popo? Japan has been infected with Americanization. Not as much as you think. They I think that it's becoming more and more problematic. I think the Ghost of Tsushima, or what not Ghost of Tsushima, Assassin's Creed with Yasuke and all that, that's going to be like a tipping point where the Japanese are probably going to start saying, look, we are not going to put up with this shit, with you guys arguing about everything we do. You argue about it. If we put samurai in the game, you complain. We put Negroes in the game, you complain, even though I know it's not Japanese making the game. Like, they're tired of it. They're going to get tired of people arguing about the localizations and trying to take down Crunchyroll because they don't like the censoring or how they change character costumes and all that kind of stuff. Eventually, people are going to get sick of that shit. Ooh, wait. Nice finish. First RKO out of nowhere, brother. First RKO out of nowhere, brother. Good match. South Korea is South Korea is pretty bad because it only exists because of the United States, so it's pretty bad. The thing is, wokeness is pretty much everywhere, but Japan is kind of resistant because they have always had the belief that they create anime and manga for themselves and they share it with the West. When people start making things specifically for the West, it's going to be a problem. This really was a good main event. Orton was good. I don't think he found his footing as a babyface, and that was the reason why they pulled the plug on it. Plus him being an asshole. But Benoit did his job. You know, Benoit, you can never complain about Benoit doing his job. He made Orton here. That's what he was there to do. 20-year vet or something like that, put over the young guy. I wonder how many did he like rip the toilet out of the ground or something like that? I heard he was doing all kind of psychotic shit. I'm pretty sure Benoit got the big hug after this. He did his job. Randy looked like $1,000,000 after that match. Benoit pressed him, put him in submissions, physically pounded and beat on him. Orton survived it all, pushed through. Natural talent, natural instincts, and charisma. And then the capper is the handshake. It's like, what else could you do? Like, Benoit had been champion since WrestleMania. What more could you do? I don't think they really put the gas behind them, which is unfortunate. But the only option you really have is to turn Benoit heel. And maybe that would have been smart. But they were moving on from Benoit, and everybody knew that. They pretty much moved on from Benoit while he still had the belt. Because he was doing tag team shit with Edge, which was stupid. They're trying to give Benoit a rub off on Edge, which is crazy because Benoit was barely over at the time. He would actually be more over a couple of years later. Benoit was far more over in the mid card than he was in the main event. That's a manly handshake right there, brother. That's one hell of a handshake. He meant that shit. He says, imagine how difficult it must be for a leftist to start calling Japanese racist about Yasuke after stop Asian hate. It's just so much crazy shit going on with that character and this weird stuff. I'm pretty sure the Japanese usually have a pretty smooth response to Americans trying to tell them their own history. They usually are, thank you very much for having interest in Japanese history. You know, like they don't care if you watch you running around with kimonos on or anything. They think that stuff's cool. That you want to be like them. They don't get offended like black people do. But this Yasuke thing is kind of going kind of far. Because there's white dudes, you know, changing a Wikipedia account. And I have no earthly idea. We all know that the guy existed, but we don't know that much about him. And then they decided to make a whole video game about him. And the Japanese are like, wait a second, he's the main character? Like, wait a minute. What's happening here? What are you guys doing? You're making him a star. He's like a footnote in Japanese history. He's an aberration. You know? You guys are making him the solo star of the goddamn game? Would I ever do a live watch along of a current pay-per-view? I was thinking about doing that. I may do that for a pay-per-view I really don't care about, what seems like SummerSlam. I don't give a damn about SummerSlam, but I don't know. I may do one. I don't want to turn into a reaction channel though, where people are getting like super excited about nothing. Oh my god! 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 I tell you, ain't nothing I hate worse more than that. That's the worst kind of content on the internet. It's people who pretend to be super shocked about every fucking thing. I hate that stuff. I don't watch reactions. I tried watching it like young guy listening to Nas Hip Hop is Dead for the first time. I'm thinking, you know what? I might be interested in that. Then I found out this guy was like in middle school when it came out. And I'm like, oh, you can't really understand this shit, man. I can't take your word on this. Yeah, this Josuke thing, I'm done with it. I don't care what they do at this point, bro. Y'all want to do an anime movie? Watch on. We could do that. I just wanted to do something where everybody would have access to it. If there's an anime movie like on YouTube or something like that, we could do that. That could be fun. Bad Blood 2024. Well, I don't know. What's the card gonna be? I'm pretty sure something's gonna pop up, and I'm like, I don't care about this. Let's do a live review. Ghost in the Shell is free on YouTube at the moment. Oh, Ghost in the Shell is a classic. Maybe. I've seen Ghost in the Shell 100 times too. Is it in English or Japanese? It really don't matter because it's not that different. Actually, I watched all the Dragon Ball movies on YouTube. There's somebody up here posting like Battle of Gods and Resurrection. I didn't even watch Resurrection F when it first came out. It took me a long time to go back and watch it. I didn't hate it. I think everybody else hated it. I didn't really hate it that much. I liked the big fight scene where like the Z fighters were fighting like Frieza's goons. I thought that was fun. But everybody was upset about Gohan getting one shot by Frieza. I was okay with that. Gohan sucks. Chino XL died. Do we know what happened to him? Like I saw that he had passed, but I never saw that anything like did he have a heart attack, a stroke? I know he was only 50. When I was younger, I tried listening to Chino XL albums, but he's just a rapidy rap guy. I was like, nah, I'm a pass. I like for people to actually put some song structure together, for God's sake. He's a lyricist, but that's about it. Beat didn't matter. None of this stuff mattered. I don't care about Gohan that much. Like, he was never my favorite character on Dragon Ball. He's okay, and when he's well written, he's good. But they already showed you that Gohan is washed, so he got washed. So it's not a surprise, and it really worked to put over how strong Frieza had got. That he was able to one shot Gohan. So I was fine with it. I wasn't tripping. I still think Superhero was the weakest movie that they released recently, though. Even though, and it's only because Piccolo turned orange. I was like, oh, it's got orange. And Cell Max, I'm like, ugh, get the hell out of with this. Stop reusing ideas. Come up with something, you know. It felt terrible because they went. I was okay with them going back to the Red Ribbon Army. I was okay with that. The recurring villains, I'm okay with that. But the more androids, not okay with that. Cell Max, not certainly not okay with that. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of corny. People wanted Gohan to be the main character after Goku died. Gohan barely had a personality, man. He barely had a personality. He just wasn't fit for the role. And that was the whole reason why, the quote unquote Boo saga was so long, because they had to establish a personality for Gohan. So they had to do the whole Great Saiyan, and then he just turned into a cornball, which makes sense because he was living in the mountains. He had no friends outside of his dad's friends. So it was okay, the slice of life element of it, but he never really developed an individual personality. Toriyama underdeveloped Gohan. He was never fit to be the main character. It just couldn't happen. Lyrical miracle whip, getting whipped while drinking Kool-Aid bars. Yeah, bars of Kool-Aid sound like something he would say. I, was it Chino XL or Cannabis who talked about, I'm gonna put my fist through your chest and rap the rest of this verse or something? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? like just dumb shit out of here. But if you like rapidy rap guys like Chino XL and Ransom, and who was another one of those dudes? Uh the black dude who thinks he's Eminem. What's his name? Shit. Uh he Hobson. Yeah, if you like stuff like that, more power to you. But I don't know that much. I tried listening to Chino XL, one of his older albums. This was back when I was far more open minded about rap music. I still couldn't get into it. Yeah, Hobson, he's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I like Tech Nine though. I don't like Hobson. Vegeta's probably one of the more popular characters in the series. Probably might be the most popular character in the series. Um, if we're being honest, which is the only reason he's still around. But I think that if they're going to do, I don't know, like I toddle between the idea of maybe trying to modernize Dragon Ball to make it more like the shows that they have influenced, where the characters are more friendly with each other and the stakes are lower, and you can get more of the characters involved in the story. But I also like the old Dragon Ball magic, where you know Goku and Vegeta fist fight somebody to death. Like I'm okay with that. Yeah, we might want to get Tien in there at some point. It'd be nice if Krillin could be competitive, but ultimately everybody wants to see the Saiyans kick somebody's ass. Yes, it was actually in the manga too. He had drawn it with his own hand that he wanted to kill Vegeta off. Yeah, you know what? It's a bigger thing then you realize when it comes to male characters being in drag and Dragon Ball, in manga. I think Goku was in drag in Dragon Ball and early Dragon Ball. Everybody's favorite thing in Final Fantasy VII was Cloud in drag, which I don't understand why that was everybody's favorite thing. Which looks stupid, by the way. But this stuff happens a lot. It happens too much. I just don't think they take it that seriously as much as Americans do. X9 said, used to fall into that rapidy rap YouTube comment phase back in 2010. But now I just want something to too good my ears instead of someone screaming words at me. Yeah, I don't want people aggressive poetics with no purpose, you know, about what he's going to do to me. Like all this cannabis shit. I can't stand cannabis. I never liked him. Like he's one of the dudes that's rapidy rap as hell. I can't stand him. And I think I've been proven over the years that all cannabis fans are fake. I don't believe cannabis has fans. It's like what LL Cool J said, 99% of your fans don't exist. I don't think a cannabis fan has actually listened to a whole cannabis album. How could you? It's just a collection of fucking raps. Like he can't write a song to save his life. It's just a collection of raps. We'll be wrapping this thing up in a couple of minutes. They posted the Royal Rampage on YouTube. Oh, hilarious. I didn't watch that either, by the way. I never watched that Collision. Collision is a terrible show. Not Collision, I mean Rampage. Rampage is worse than Collision somehow. It's like magic. How could you possibly be worse than Collision? But Rampage manages to do it every time. Even if it sounds like something interesting might happen on Rampage, it turns out nothing actually happened. You said K-pop is good? I'll probably never know. He was born April the 8th, 1974. Wow. He was born 9 years, 364 days before I was born. Do I think Berserk will ever get a faithful line? Probably not. I think if they were to try to make it, they take everything with the people that like Berserk and take it out. They already every other week I see people talking about rape and Berserk. They definitely want to take that out. And I think if you're going to alter the product that much, it ain't going to work. Not saying that I've never read Berserk myself. Like I've been meaning to do it ever since somebody sold me on it by calling it Conan the Barbarian in Japanese. But it seemed like an endless story that just seems to go nowhere. And now that the creator is dead, it's really going nowhere. The only LL Cool J fan left is probably Eminem. I'm an LL Cool J fan. I like LL Cool J. I don't think Cannabis has any fans left. After his terrible battle rap performance, how can anybody be a fan? And that was 10 years ago. And even before that, he was trash. So I don't even understand why people listen to Cannabis. I just don't get it. It ain't for me to understand, I guess. Somebody got a video saying Chris Jericho and the Elite are ruining AEW. Well, good luck getting. You know how much damage you would do to your fan base if you got rid of the Young Bucks? You kill AEW. That's the one thing that would kill the company is if the Elite left, and people don't believe that. But the only people that are there are the Elite fans. They're the only ones hanging around. Everybody else comes and goes, but the Elite fans are always going to be there. That's the core of the audience. Berserk does have a lot of fucked up manga panels, like Guts getting raped when he was a kid. Yeah, that's sick. That's sick. What was the name of that hip hop conservative blog site? I have no idea. I used to be on all hip hop uh, in the early 2000s until they got sold to a different group and they nuked everything and everybody just kind of went in different directions. But I don't know about anything about most conservatives hate hip hop though. They don't like rap. I don't know how many times I can sit down and listen to like John McWhorter or Jason Whitlock rag on rap music. X9 used to be a part of Studio Leaks. Cool. I used to be on the Jadakiss boards. I used to be on 50 Cent didn't really have boards, but he used to be on the Jadakiss board all the time back in the early 2000s. I had a phase where I was on the internet a lot, like 4chan and everything, and then I just fell back. I think that's when I was probably most following Meltzer and Alvarez and their exploits and all of them on what their thoughts on wrestling were. And then I just was like, do I care about this shit? The answer is no. So I just kind of left it alone. I've never spent too much time on Reddit. There's too much moderation on Reddit, So I don't really be bothered. There's a lot of moderation here on YouTube as well, but there's a lot of moderation on Reddit. I think I may have started something and it got taken down almost immediately. I was like, wow, never mind then. I don't have an opinion. I don't got nothing I want to talk about. You can go fuck yourselves. There was another discussion about hip hop being anti-black. I don't believe it, but I'm willing to entertain it. Even though I already know what they're going to say, I kind of entertain it. MongoSlade, you always thinking about wrestling. Go do something else, bro. Whole life around fake wrestling. How do you know what my life revolves around? You got a drone or something following me around? You stalking me, bro? Isn't Mustafa Ali done with TNA? I don't know. Is he? I'm not watching TNA. I know he was still there last week. Is he? Did he say he was done with TNA? Carlos Williams, he's coming out of the woodwork. Big hater energy. That's fine. I was about to wrap this thing up anyway. Because I got to go to work in the morning. I'm hot. I'm tired. And I need something to drink. All right, y'all. Thank y'all guys for stopping by. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy SummerSlam. I don't know if I'm going to do a SmackDown review. I'm probably not going to do any videos tomorrow. Or there probably won't be another video till SummerSlam. I know they did 2 biographies. I just watched Paul Heyman earlier today. I watched Ted DiBiase a couple of days ago. I will be doing reviews on them, but it'll probably be Monday. What do you mean? I just did a whole video about Shane McMahon and AEW. It's literally on the channel. You go watch that. I'm going to bed. Talk to you guys later.